Hey, 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 what's going on, guys and gals? Today, we're going to try and make the ultimate X32 live mixing video. Okay, we've been running into this question quite a bit here lately. Myself, I've actually dealt with it 4 times now in the last 3 weeks. And what we're going to talk about is the levels that you must use to run through the X32 mixers. Okay. And this goes for the M32s as well, and probably any other digital mixer out there. Okay. But the key thing we're going to look at here is right here, the AD to DA conversion, which is 24-bit. That is the 24-bit resolution. Okay. Now it's at 44.1 or 48 hertz. Either one, it doesn't matter. It's that 24-bit that we're concerned with. Now, how do we make sure that we get all of that 24-bit processing power? Well, we've got to be as close to line level as we can get. Now, all your preamp does is it brings your microphone up to line level. That's it. That's the only thing it's designed for. Okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at a little meter here, a little picture that shows us what we're looking for. Okay? And here we go. If you notice that +4 right there equals 0 on a VU meter. This is an analog meter. And if you look right over here, it says the -18 or the 18. And this is the digital meter. Okay? Now, on the X and M32s, as far as I can tell by my testing, the input meters are peak meters. Okay? Now, my preference, I would rather have the RMS, which is the root mean squared way of measuring the audio, instead of the peaks. But that's all right. We're going to work around that a little bit. If you ever notice when you go into your compressor settings for your makeup gains for your meters, you'll see you have the option to choose either peak or RMS. 99% of the time, in my opinion, you want to choose the RMS. Okay? So let's go ahead and jump into X32 Edit, and let's look at a few things. Now, the first thing I want to point out is if you look at all my faders right here, I don't think I have more than a 3 dB difference between cutting and boosting on my faders here. Okay? So as this song comes in, this is 32 tracks, and I want to come up here and talk a little bit about the compressor here. And this is what I was talking about right here. Instead of having it on the peak, put it on the RMS. Okay? Now, as you can see, when this kick drum starts coming in, your makeup gain over here, that's exactly what it is. It is makeup gain. It is not for boosting this output. As you can see, this is just a little bit lower. It's coming in anywhere between that -18 and -20, which is exactly where it needs to be. Every one of these channels have been set up like this. Okay? So you come over to your makeup gain, and you just barely start bringing it up until you can make these two meters as close as possible together. Okay? Because when we come up here and start looking at our meters here, you'll see that from this meter, we're only talking after it peaks here. Okay? We've only got about 7 dBs over here at 0. This is 0. This is what we were talking about. This is the cleanest audio that you can produce by having your master fader set at 0. Okay? Now, I'm going to come up here to the monitor section. And as you can see right here, we're looking at this meter. It's a little bit closer, a little bit more detail right here. But this is after the final listen or after fader listen. Okay? It's after is the first one. The here we're going to go to PFL. Okay, and as you can see that nothing's changed. But if we bring this master fader down now, this fader has no control over this input. This is how you want to monitor your audio. Okay, don't worry about the master fader, because this is what's happening, guys. People are going out and they're buying these huge speaker systems, whether it's for the venues, which really doesn't affect it that much if you're playing outside. But if you're inside for a church and you're getting 8 and 10,000 watt speakers, and that room should truly only have 2 or 3,000 watt speakers, then this is what happens. Okay, I'm going to put this back now on after the final listen here. When you crack this master fader over here now, you can't move it any more than that right there. It is literally blistering the room with audio pressure, with sound pressure waves. Okay? Now remember, our ultimate bit depth is to have this master fader up here around this 0, and that's 24 bits. By having it down here at this level, we have now taken that 24-bit and we have reduced it down to 6-bit, 8-bit, 10-bit maybe. I don't know. But we have reduced it down tremendously. Because in order for us to get this audio crystal clear, just like it is capable of doing, this has to be at 0. Now, everything has an exception. In reality, everybody knows you cannot simply just come in here and put everything at 0 and walk away. Okay? That is not how you mix audio. These are the guidelines, guys. Okay? This is what you want to achieve. And I want to go back over here now to where I'm blending in this audio. You start at 0 on your faders. With me, I brought the main vocals up just a little bit. Then I brought my kick drum up. And then I just started blending everything else to this. But as you can see, all of my signals are extremely strong. Now, these other channels, this is actually a 47-track song, and I only picked 32. So as the song starts and stops and goes through, is when these other channels will come in. But look over here at our masters, okay, at 7 and 8. Now, I'm going to pull this down, and I'm going to turn on my studio monitors. And I'm going to keep my microphone just where I'm speaking right now. In the studio, my monitor setup is the triangular setup. I'm dead center. I've got one approximately 2 foot to the left of me, 2 foot to the right of me, and my chair is centered to where those two lines intersect. So I'm going to bring up this audio now, and I'm going to tell you when it's too loud for me. Okay? And this is the only way I can simulate it, because I definitely can't hook up my mains. Okay? So these are my studio monitors. And that's about it. That is anything else more than that is no different than you or me or anybody else putting on a set of headphones and just cranking that volume all the way up. It becomes uncomfortable. Okay? Now, my wife is probably going to come running out, getting ready to smack me. But let's go ahead and run it up to where it's at 0. And I'm going to simply overpower this room. These are JBL 50-watt, 5-inch monitor speakers. Now, that is at the end of the song when everything is winding down. Okay? After this song starts and it goes through and it starts, all these other channels start kicking in with the rest of these guitars and every other instrument coming through. When I do that and run it up to 0, it hurts. It's painful. Okay, like I said, anything above that 30 right there is painful. So what happens? I lose that clarity of what I'm listening to. This is from a studio point of view now. So what do? Well, on the JBL 5-inch and the 8-inch, you have a control knob on the back. And I literally turn those down on the songs that I'm working with to around a 2 or 3 setting. And then I can bring this up to 0. And it's at a very comfortable listening level for me. Now, they say that you should be between 65 and 72 dBs when you listen to your monitors for mixing audio. Okay? Well, that's a personal preference. It's however you want to do it. But I promise you that I am well exceeding those decibels, and I'm losing the clarity of having this master fader at that 0 position. Now, if I'm losing it in my studio, I promise you, you are losing it at your venue. Because whether this is coming in from Reaper or whether it's a live connection, plugged in, coming in, going live, it makes no difference. Now, over here on these EQs, if you turn them on, or let me find one that's active here. There we go. When you've got it on, as you can see that right around here, around 2K, okay, it's raised. You have to take that into consideration. That's why you hear so much about subtractive EQing. Because they know this. They know they don't want to add too much of a boost on their EQs. Because when you're working with 32 channels of inputs, it's going to add up very, very quickly. Okay? So what we're going to do now is I've changed the setting back on my monitors. Everything is set up the exact same way. And I also want to mention about DCAs here before we get too far into this. I've got the drum set on a DCA. Okay, I've got the DCA master up here for the drums set at 0. As you can see on the mains, everything, the kick drum, everything's still going out the left and the right. Okay, the DCAs do not have that option. So it's not like you can take the DCA out of the main. So the DCAs, you can still set up your DCAs. You can still run everything the exact same way. Okay, only this time now, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my master fader up to 0, and let's listen to the difference. Because before, when I take this audio and I run it through Reaper in order to make these videos, I've got to lower that volume that was coming through the Shure 7B before. If not, it's going to, I don't want to hurt nobody's ears. I don't want it to go from a certain dB level and then jump up 25, 30 dBs. Okay, I'm trying to be responsible here. I don't want to do that. And that's another story. That's a very interesting story because it happened to me with one of my youngest grandchildren. And that was about 17 years ago. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring this up now. And I apologize. Getting back, the audio's not clipping, and you're going to hear that distortion in there. The microphone input is not clipping that I'm talking to on you right now, the Shure 7B. The room itself was actually distorting that audio because the monitors, the speaker system, was simply overpowering the room that I'm in. So let's go ahead and run it up here. We're at about the same place we were in the song before, and let's just listen to a little bit of this. Now, guys, if you're wearing earbuds, or at least headphones, I hope, you're going to notice that that hi-hat started coming in sweet. Okay, that reverb on the boom, 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 boom just started coming out to where you could notice it because it's at the proper level. Before, all of this was being covered up by that distortion. Okay? So, taking all of this into consideration, if you cannot get this right here, your master fader, up close, right there where it needs to be, then you've simply got too much PA for the room. You've got the wrong tool in your signal chain to try and get the job done. So before you go out there and think bigger is better, it doesn't work that way. Even on an outside venue, if you have to keep your mains down around here, because let's say it's an inner city venue, or it's a country festival, or whatever it is. I mean, rock concerts, guys, are between 110 and 120 dBs. Okay? We're not talking filling stadiums here. We're talking what the average person does with an average band or an average praise and worship team running 32 channels. Okay? Again, all you have to do is look at where my fader position is, and then I'm going to go ahead and raise this up. And I'm going to go back here and I'm going to start Reaper from the beginning. And then you can decide whether you think you like it, you don't like it. Don't worry so much about the mix. You should be wearing earbuds when you do this. This is how I'm mixing it for this video. Okay? And you be the judge. All right?
There's somewhere, love, the moment that we washed away. The house has gone quiet, there's nothing more we can say. My room is this room and that one is yours. I see you're awake by the light under the door. That moment, love, we let ourselves wash away. Then I see your eyes as they're shining. Hope runs through my veins like a drug. Maybe we can make something from nothing. Maybe be who we were once. One day we're just gonna spread the pretensions. Why good hearts when they're broken? Together the pieces from the share. We'll find our way get you right here while you're missing all the things that I'm not. Know you gotta feel it, gotta breathe it, gotta want this mess with everything you got. I'm not the one saying, look, it's too late.
Okay, guys, so I hope you liked that. I hope you found it a little bit pleasing, if nothing else. If you have any questions, come on up and see me. DanaTucker.com. We do this all the time. Be more than happy to jump on Zoom with you, and we'll get it figured out. Take care, God bless, and we are out of here.